Miabo Mivoatra. Une émission de développement personnel, présentée par Lolo Zonantenena. En prime tous les mardis et jeudis à 21h. La rediffusion tous les mercredis et vendredis à 16h. Chez Madagascar 24, UHF 48, c'est la télé.
Dia mbola faly miarabantsika tsiray avy indray a manaraka ny fandarana miabo sy mivoatra fandarana izay ifampizarana ny tsara sy ny mahasoa ary ivelarana sy tombona ho amin'ny tsaratsara kokoa hatrany. Mbola ny namanareo a Lolo Zonantenena ihany no miaraka aminareo amin'ity androany ity. Araka ny efa mahazatra antsika dia manana vahiny isika vahiny hafa indray no miaraka amintsika androany dia tsy izany fa team McGuire. Team tonga soa, welcome to the show Miabo Mivoatra.
Such a basic Lolo.
Araka ny hitantsika dia vahiny izay tsy avy eto Madagasikara no vahintsika fa vahiny Amerikanina ka ny fandarantsika androany dia iompana kokoa amin'ny fiteny anglisy izany. Ary iresaka mivantana mikasika ny amin'ny fivoahana ao amin'ny toerana mahazatra isika na ny atao hoe toerana azo antoka na zone de confort izy izy ny teny frantsay. Izay resantsika miodidina amin'ny zavatra izay ho ataon'ny team McGuire ka dia hoarantsika eo ambany eo ny sous-titre amin'ny teny frantsay na teny malagasy izay azahoantsika azy ko aza manany amin'ny fanarahana an'izany fandaharana izany. So team, thank you so much for coming and accepting the invitation. We are so happy to have you in here today. We're going to talk more about what your company, your project here in Madagascar, and especially we are going to focus especially on comfort zone because you are a young American, yes, still young guy.
Still young.
You came from America, you are here doing your project in here. Can you talk a little bit about your project, I mean the company, One Planet Tour? We really want to know about it.
Sure. So thank you, Lolo, for having me on the program today. My project is based around tourism, One Planet Tours. Really what we're trying to do is find a way in which we can generate the most benefit out of tourism for local economies. Our first place that we're going to is Madagascar. The reason being is because I have some experience here. My professor is from Madagascar. He took me here for my internship and the end of my master's program. So I really fell in love with this place, and I just see so much potential for tourism here in Madagascar. A lot of potential that maybe currently is not being underutilized. And so the goal is to really find a way in which that we can bring native travel vendors to have more stake in the supply chain so that there can be more value for them.
Great. We will talk about a little bit about this, the tourism, a little bit later. But I want to focus more on this that you have made to come here in Madagascar. Why Madagascar? You said that it's the first place that you go, I mean, to make this project with your company.
Yeah.
But my question is a little bit deeper, saying why Madagascar? Why not choosing another country? Because as we know, Madagascar, it is posted somewhere or on internet, Madagascar is a little bit a tough country. I mean, as they call it underdeveloped country, and difficult to put, especially about corruption. It's kind of difficult to do something in here. What they've said and what we read. So that's why I want to ask the question: why do you want work in Madagascar, which is told that it's difficult to work in Madagascar. Why this choice?
Yeah, no, that's a great question.
Yeah.
For me, there's some obvious answers that probably anyone would say. I mean, 95% of the wildlife found, of the flora and fauna found in Madagascar can only be found here. So there's obviously a lot of incredibly unique things that make Madagascar a place to visit. But for me, it is something deeper. Like I said, my professor led a study tour here back in 2017, so 5 years ago now. And at the completion of that study tour, when all the other students were going home, I had to do my internship to complete my
here in Madagascar.
Yes, here in Madagascar to complete my graduate degree. And in between that time where that internship would start and the study tour ended, it was about maybe 2 weeks. And my professor asked me, Tim, what do you want to do? And I had no idea. He offered some different options, and at the end of it, he said, you could just come with me, and we'll go up north and visit my family. And to me, that was probably the most pivotal moment, really not just about why I'm doing this, but in my life, to have someone like my professor, care enough to have his student, probably someone he wanted to be all the way away from at that point in time, but to have his student come with him to do his personal things, like meet with his family and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I've never forgotten that. And, it meant that everything that he told me about Madagascar, everything that I learned about Madagascar just meant so much more because, of the person who was teaching me. And so, really, why Madagascar is probably because of my professor, and if it wasn't for him, I probably would be doing something else. And so, just that investment that he had in me is something that I want to be able to reinvest to other people that maybe have not had the opportunity, even in their own country, to experience some of the things that I've gotten to experience.
That's so cool. That's so cool because it's because of your professor that you have decided to follow up and work here in Madagascar, do something, a project here in Madagascar. And that's really important too for you, if you are a leader or a professor, to influence your friends or even your students, those people who follow you, to do something good in your area or in your places. Don't hesitate to do that, because the things that you are doing, the things that you are saying to those people, your followers, your students, is really impactful to them. So it's important to tell those people what is good to do. But now I want to ask a question then. When you decided to start this project and start the project here in Madagascar, what was your family or friends in America thinking about your plan to go? What was this? Is this they are really like supporting your project, your plan to come in here? Or they were saying, what happened, but we really want to know, because still it's really impressive to see a young man from, we can say it's a rich country or powerful country, to come to a poor country, as I said. How those people surrounding you, the family, friends, told you about this plan to come and do some project with your company here in Madagascar?
Yeah, well, sure, it's definitely an untraditional way of going about things. I have a master's degree. I'm 29 years old. At this point, I feel like I should, or generally speaking, have a good job and have a good 9 to 5. And if I was normal, but for me, I just wasn't satisfied with that type of outlook on life. I wanted something different, something that would be meaningful to me. And certainly there were many people that discouraged me from going down this road. There was certainly some family even that felt that way. I don't think it came from a poor place. It didn't come from an evil place, a jealous place, or anything like that. It came from maybe a place of concern, like, what the heck? Why are you going to Madagascar? But I think once people understood just how relentless I was to doing this, there was there did begin to become some kind of appreciation for I guess my attitude towards doing this thing, this kind of dream of mine, I guess you could say. So it's certainly not, there's some discomfort involved in the sense that, you're doing something off the grid, and if you fail, then you have to go back home and everyone's going to say, well, we told you so,
Yeah.
But my bigger discomfort was the thought that I could be an old man one day and look back on life and think, man, I didn't do it. I never tried. What would have happened if I tried?
Yeah.
And so I'd rather do everything I can to make sure that never, ever happens in my life.
So for you then, when we talk about comfort zone, it's not really like the places that you are living. It's not the place that you are getting in, but it's more on the mindset that you're gonna live. It's more on accomplishment and to find your purpose in life, and that's really important too. Sometimes we think that getting out of our comfort zone is to get out from the place that we are living. We are not forced necessarily to get out of our place that we are living, but especially we have to get out from the way that we are used to live. I mean, the way of living or the mentality that is surrounding us. Sometimes we have a cultural things that we used to accept, and we think that that is okay. For Tim, he was talking about working 9 to 5. That is the thing that is conventional, it's acceptable for our society. But for him, he was thinking there is something more than that, and that is really important to think that what is more behind the thing that we used to have, the thing that we used to do in our life. I have a question again, and always a question because it's so impressive, and I'm so curious to see. I mean, a young man to go and do. I know that you went far away here in Madagascar, far away from Tana. Yeah. You went to Fort Dauphin. So now, since you live in your maybe you said your dream, do you find this satisfying, or what is the thing that you need more other than what you are doing now then?
Yeah. Well, my recent trip was down to the south, so Tuliar and Davaduk, and then we went to Talgnaru, and so that was amazing. I think the moment where it really hit me, like, I did it, Yeah. There's been a few moments in my life, and you know it when it happens, because it's just this overwhelming sensation of just like, kind of, you want to say pride, but it's more humility. Like, there's no way that I could have done this on my own, kind of thing. And for it to actually happen is just is almost, it puts you in disbelief. But when I was in Andavaduk, which is where the village I did my internship in 5 years ago, I wanted to go back and see some of those people. Yeah. And there they have a little basketball court, and basketball is something I played in university, of course. Yeah. So what I did is I was able to get in contact with some of the local young leaders there, and they said, "Hey, Tim, we haven't played basketball in years because we don't have a basketball." Yeah. So I said, "Man, like I got to do something about that." So went and got some basketballs here in Madagascar. Went to get jerseys, and then even went to go get some cups, some trophies.
Okay, right.
And we, it was great. We had some meetings to set it up, so we knew it was going to happen. Yeah. And I was standing on the court, and the time it was supposed to be, and not very many people were around. And I was like, oh boy, muda, like, guess it's Madagascar, or like maybe it's not going to happen. But then all of a sudden, I heard this loud music coming from this boom box being carried through the village, and all these people just coming out into the court. And by the time we started playing, I mean, there was hundreds of people there to watch. Yeah. And people said, they told me this is like the first time they've had an event like this since well before COVID. Yeah. And it's nothing special I did. It was all of the local young people that did that. I just provided a little gas to the fire. But when I look back on that and saw all those people coming out there, and I was even looking at my jersey because I was playing too, I think about all the things in the last 5 years that I've gone through, And I had to think like I had to pinch myself a little bit, like there was in disbelief, because I used to think, you know, when I would be really sad or depressed, I used to think about that moment of just being, you know, on that court playing with those guys and seeing everyone come from everywhere around the village. And for it to actually happen in real life was just like, man, like it really, really happened. And so, you know, it doesn't mean that I don't have other things to go and do. What it actually means is that you did that, Tim. So what's next? Like if you can do that, you know, you can do other things too. And you know, that's just the mentality I'm taking. But it's not a mentality of arrogance, because I know how much went into just that little event. You know, it's more of a, you know, hey, like if I was able to do that, I can do something else. You know, and we're gonna do something else. And
that's great. That's great, because now you are talking about things that happened. You didn't even think to do this, but because of the circumstances, you were doing something that really struck you up. And that's really important too for us as a human being, to get out of things, to get out of our comfort zone that we used to do, and then something may happen, and we have to do something that we've never thought to do. And it's really getting to there. And I'm asking people, those who are watching us today, that you have to get out, and even though you really don't know what to do, but find something that you can start to do, and then you will find your purpose there. And you will find in those events that these things can grow on doing those things. So it's always, maybe there is always, fear there. You may be scared to do the thing, but go and start to do your thing. Be in action, because when you are in action, you can think something that you've never done before, and you've done it. So that's my next question is to ask you, what is it that you think, or the things that you have done, you think that you've never done before, but now you are doing it, and you think, I've never thought that I can do this, but now you are doing the thing. What is those things? You think that, do you think of a special thing or a special event that you have done that you've never thought that you been able to do?
Yeah, it's kind of I guess a combination of events, but back in the beginning of the year 2020, I was in a really bad car accident back in the United States. And at this time is actually when I was really first starting to work on this One Planet Tours project. And it was very serious, like, you know, when I woke up in the hospital and everything, you know, it's kind of scary because you don't know the things that you might be able to or might not be able to do in your life. And you know, I know from what they were saying is, you know, the first things I started talking about was Madagascar and One Planet Tours. Like that was, I guess, my mind, even though it was kind of scrambled at that point, was fixated on that. But there were many times where I didn't think that it would be possible to make it back, even just make it here, you know. And so even when I got on the plane, you know, to come to Madagascar, it was this like tremendous amount of accomplishment just doing that. And I hadn't even accomplished anything, but just to say that I was getting on that plane to come back to Madagascar to pursue this dream that I have. That was something I didn't think would actually be possible at one point in time. And for me to get that there, I felt some pride, but also humility and gratefulness over having this opportunity.
That's really important. And to see you now really fit, it's not really like you can think that you got
kind of fat now.
that you got involved in the car accident, and it's a really bad car accident, right? So we are happy to have you here in Madagascar, and especially here in Miabo Mivoatra. So that's why when we are thinking on doing things that we are not used to do before, there are something that we discover in ourselves that, wow, I was never thought that I can do these things. but things happen, and it's there that we found that we have potentialities in us. We can grow that potentialities, and you will be amazed by yourself, but also people will be amazed by you, and from that it will give you more strength, more power to go further in life. I have a question again. Where do you get your strength? I mean, to keep going on. Where do you get that? How do you get that strength? I mean, to go further and to think that there is a lot more thing up there or there.
Question. I guess I don't know. It's not something I've ever actually thought about, to be quite honest with you. You know, I'm not a terribly religious person, but I definitely, there are still moments where there's this undeniable sense of something greater than myself, because I'm nothing really. Like, I look at myself and I think you're nothing. Like, but you're still able to do some things that are pretty damn cool, you know? And that only comes from, I believe, some other greater power out there. So, you know, I don't know if I'm really strong. People see the outside stuff,
I mean,
you know.
I mean, after the car accident.
Yeah, I know, but there was, you know, some ways there I didn't have a choice, you know, because I have a family who loves me, and you know, I'm the big brother, and so, you know, if I were to be a vegetable or be dead for the rest of my life, or forever, you know, I know that for one reason or another, my family wouldn't enjoy life the same way. So I didn't really have a choice to get better and to do those types of things. My family was there and forced me to get better. And you know, you just have to, I think you said something that was really interesting. You know, we just have to, you know, we could say we could stack wins on top of each other. So even if it's not your big, huge dream, you can just find some small thing. For me, it was like, you know, make sure you take all your medicine today. Like, because sometimes I didn't want to take it, my medicine, you know, because it didn't make me feel good. But just being able to take it that day was a big win, you know. And so then the next day it was like, you know, you get up at the right time, and then you get up at the right time, and after that you go for a walk. You know, wow, I went for a walk. It was only like 100 meters, but it was still a walk. You know, and these are things that just continue to add up. You can't get too concentrated on the end goal. Sometimes you just have to, you know, set, you know, just be obsessed with just progress. And so, for me, a lot of people said I was strong and stuff, but I mean, what would anybody else do? You know, I don't know. Like, you have to. I don't want to be in bed forever. I wanted to get better. You know, so
I think that all of us have this strength inside of us.
For sure.
We need to exploit it, and we need to work on it so that we can grow and grow more in our life. And especially, even though we have this strength in us, it's really important when we are talking about family surrounding you, and you said that you are believing higher power also. So I mean, for us to go further in our life, it's important to have a support system surrounding us, especially your family and friends. Choose your family. You cannot choose your family, but ask them and tell them to support you in your project or in your dream. But also for your friends, you have to pick up and pick well and choose well your friends, so that they will support you in your project, so that you can go further and can exploit your strength to go further in life. That's really important. And especially I want to suggest you to your belief to have this belief in higher power than yourself, because as human beings, we are small, we are weak if we go alone. So we need to ask this higher power. If you, I don't know what you call him, but for me, I call him God. So I'm asking you also to ask his power to go further in our life. We are almost at the end of this program, team. But if you have something to share to our viewers, what do you want to tell them, you know, to accomplish something. Maybe there are people who have their dream, but they can really like get out of the place that they are or to reach what they want to reach. Do you have something to share and to encourage those people to act in their dream and to do something for their community and especially for them also? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I want to be careful in what I say because you know I come from a different situation, coming from the United States, and so I do have, you know, at least when we talk about business and things, there are more opportunities than people who are richer than me living in Madagascar. It's true. I mean, there's limits, a lot more limits to things here. But what I will say, and I think it's true no matter wherever you go, is that the only thing holding you back from accomplishing those dreams that you have is your obsession with accomplishing them. And what that means is that if you really want something bad enough, if you really want it bad enough, you will find a way. Like I know that sounds kind of like a privileged way of thinking, but truthfully, if you want something bad enough, you will figure it out. I think humans are adapted to do this kind of thing. Okay. You know, you see some people, even when they have nothing at all, they still find a way to have some fun during the day. You know, they still find a way to survive and still find a way to live a life with nothing. And so, you know, in that case, I mean, they could just be, I mean, we are wired to survive, and so they figure out a way to survive. But for us that maybe, you know, aren't at that level right now, and we can dream a little bit. You know, whatever that dream is, it takes that obsessiveness. It takes some support, like we've mentioned, but just being obsessed over, I want to do this, and I want to figure it out. Humans are powerful enough to do that, I believe. And you know, if you don't, I guess if you don't want it bad enough, then it won't happen. But if you really, really want something, you will find a way, and that's connecting with resources, believing in higher power, having, you know, forming a community around you. These are all different ways in which, you know, you can succeed, and you will do those things if you really want to, you know, accomplish your dreams. So that's kind of my.
Thank you so much, Tim, for coming. I hope that next time when we invite you to come again, you will come again. So thank you so much for coming, Tim.
Of course, thank you, Lolo.
Kasitrahana feno Tim ny amin'ny fiarahany amintsika androany, aran-kasitrahana indrindra ianao ny amin'ny fanaranao ny fandarana. Ny zava-dehibe izay raisitsika sy tadidina dia zao hoe ilaitsika ny mivoaka ao amin'ny toerana izay mahazatra. Misy toerana izay azo antoka indraindray izay ipetrahantsika dia sarotra amintsika ny mivoaka ao, kanefa ny manahirana rehefa mijanona ao amin'ny toerana izay mahazatra dia mety amono anao izany toerana izany, ilay mamono izay resahana eto, dia tsy hoe akory hoe ho faty ho aterina any am-pasana, fa tsy afaka mitombo sy tsy afaka mivelatra ianao rehefa mionona sy mitoetra ao amin'ny toerana izay mahazatra sy azahoanao antoka fotsiny ihany. Ny zava-dehibe zany mba ahitanao ny fivoaranao sy mba ahitanao ny herinao mihoatra dia ilainao ny mivoaka ao amin'ny izay mahazatra anao. Koa dia iriko indrindra raha ohatra ka ivoaka ao amin'izay efa mahazatra anao ianao mba ahitanao an'ilay fahaiza manao anao izay tsy noeritreretinao mihitsy. Koa dia zava-dehibe ny fahafatara an'izany. Koa dia ankasitrahana trany ny amin'ny fanaranao ny fandarana miabo sy mivoatra. Ny fanirinay dia mbola anarahanao an'izany hatrany hatrany. Koa dia mirary soa indrindra, mirary soa ho an'ny mpanaraka tsirairay avy. Veloma tompoko.
Miabo Mivoatra. Une émission de développement personnel, présentée par Lolo Zonantenena. En prime tous les mardis et jeudis, à 21h. La rediffusion tous les mercredis et vendredis à 16h. Chez Madagascar 24, UHF 48, c'est la télé.
McGuire, la pub.
Crossed out the line, soil's getting dry, and we're all floating. Yeah, we cut away the morning. So much in the mix, there's so much in the mix. There's so much in the mix.
McGuire, la publicité.